Hello, I'm Dave Moore with PITC, and today we're going to be going over the testing procedure for a DCVA. The DCVA that we're going to be testing today is a ZURN Wilkins 950XL. The first step to testing our DCVA is to flush and clean any debris from our test cocks. After we've flushed our test cocks, we're going to take our high hose and connect it to test cock number 2. The first check we do on our test we do on a DCVA is checking our check 1 in forward, or developing our pressure differential across check 1. First step to this test is pressurizing and bleeding our gauge. Once we've pressurized and bled our gauge, we're going to shut off isolation valve 1. The minimum spring tension on check 1 on a DCVA is 1 psi. So we must maintain above 1 psi on our gauge for 2 minutes. Our gauge is holding at 2.3 psi. As long as we stay constant at 2.3 psi for 2 minutes, that would be a pass. We're then going to shut off our test cocks. Remove our high hose from test cock 2 and put it on test cock number 3. We're going to repressurize our device and pressurize and bleed our gauge. Once we've bled our gauge, we're again going to shut off isolation valve 1. On the second test of a DCVA, we're going to be checking both check 2 and forward, or our pressure differential across check 2, and checking check 1 in reverse. So first we're going to open up test cock number 4. Here we must hold above 1 psi for 2 minutes. Again, if we hold above 1 psi for 2 minutes, that's a pass. And then we're going to open up test cock number 2. By opening up test cock number 2, we're now testing check 1 in reversal of flow. So again, if we hold constant above 1 psi for 2 minutes, that would be recorded as a pass. We're then going to shut our test cocks and move on to the fourth and last step of our test. At this point, I'm going to take my high hose off test cock number 3 and place it on test cock number 4. I'm going to re-establish pressure in our device and pressurize and bleed our gauge. Once we've pressurized and bled our gauge, we're going to shut off isolation valve 1 and open up test cock number 3. We're now reading a pressure differential of full line pressure and atmospheric pressure of 14.7, or 0 gauge pressure. So we need to drop our gauge to a readable level. Again, our gauge must remain constant for 2 minutes. If it does, check 2 is recorded as closed and our test is done. We're then going to close our test cocks and return the device back to service.